Hello, whoever you are, whatever it is you're doing out in this world, I want you to know that there is somebody or something that needs and wants whatever crazy thing you've got. Okay? Now, this applies to a lot of different areas. I'm talking about, sure, getting hired and getting a job. I'm also talking about relationships, finding the right person for you. I'm talking about the place you want to live, the things you want to do, and especially, of course, the things that you want to sell. As you know, I have been an internet entrepreneur here for over a decade. I've been thinking about, like all of my skills. Oh, and I am single. I have been single for 4 years. So, again, I'm thinking of all these things too. I'm thinking of what is the right place for me? Where do I fit in? Why am I walking down the street with an open cup of coffee? What? These are questions we all must ask ourselves. And you know what's funny is I'm back here in my hometown in Edmonton. Things are looking very strange. The vibe is not so great. I'm going to be honest with you. I see a lot of people who cheers. I see a lot of people who seem very, like lost. They seem sad and confused. A lot of bad things happened to them here over the past 5 years. Myself, I was in Mexico. I was like, I'm out of here. I saw the writing on the wall. I had friends who knew about everything that was going to happen in 2020 years before it occurred. And we know what's coming next, too. And will those people who didn't listen to me back then listen to me now? Probably not, but that's okay. I'm going to have a seat here on this curb and we're going to talk about it. Mm, I really need to do my nails. A lot of people went through a shakeup as well. We saw like a massive amount of divorce, we saw a massive amount of job changes, country changes, home changes. And now we're seeing a lot of, layoffs, different industries, whatever. And I just want to invite you, first of all, to not take life so seriously. So if you know me, you know that this is like one of my, I don't know, like I'm a bit of a, I got that trickster archetype. So, but I'm also like, a person who thinks deeply about the world, who observes what's going on, who feels things really deeply. So sometimes I do take things too seriously. Some of you know that my cat Maurice in Mexico, if you go look at her, I made her a little highlight reel on my Instagram. And that was something I used to say to her all the time. Maurice, stop taking everything too seriously. I always have these funny things that I say with my cats, these like funny little refrains for the personalities that I give them, and then I just repeat these narratives about them over and over again. And that was the one for Maurice. Why did I say this? Because her and I used to play literally for at least half an hour every night, and I had this little toy with these little strings on the end, and I would flip them around or whatever. And she would act like a jungle panther, trying to get her first meal in a week. She'd just go crazy over this toy every time. And I would make my little joke, Maurice, you're taking it too seriously, just as a joke, right? But I thought it was so cute, and it made everything really fun. So you have to think about that. Sometimes taking life too seriously is a way of having fun. It's a way of avoiding, a lot of existential things that you may be questioning about the state of this world. Hello there. Good morning. I like how I just make like wherever I feel like in this world my little hangout spot. I just make it my little video studio, my little office. I got like friends all around the neighborhood here, which is like really funny because I always kind of do this. I'm starting to realize that now. Like when I lived in the Crow's Nest Pass, it was the same thing. I have these running inside jokes with like, the people at the gas station, people at the grocery store, whatever. And it was the same in Mexico. It was the same. I always had these people who would always see me because I walk everywhere, right? This is how I uh, clear my mind and maintain my one of the many, 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 many ways that I maintain and work on my mental health because I have an extremely poor history of mental health on both sides of my family. So I don't get to live a normal life. I have to question a quote unquote normal life But I have to question things. I have to monitor my thoughts. I have to monitor my behaviors. I have to audit my life. I have to audit the people in my life, the things that are affecting me on a day-to-day basis to work on my mental health, or I could lose grip on what I already have. And it's a blessing and a curse, but walking is one way that I help do that. Depression does not like a moving target. Actually, if you go on my second channel, my Crash Out channel, and you go under playlists, I have a lot of really awesome gems there, like CPTSD recovery essentials, like the top relationship information that I could find, the best things about dating or personal development or money, whatever it is I was interested in, it's there. And I made a playlist of like all of the choreographic workout videos that I like. So I put that there. And there are times when I'm in a bad mood and I will go and I will put on a YouTube workout playlist that I saved. And I will literally be like, I might even be crying. I'll have a miserable ass look on my face. And I will sit there and I will go through the entire thing. And literally, after probably about 8 minutes, 10 minutes, even if I was crying, I will have like a smile on my face. Being able to move your body gives it something to kind of to work on and to do, and stops you from acting out or overthinking. Did you guys like the black nails? I feel like it kind of suits me. I'm gonna do black nails. Did pink and nude nails for like so long, and you think like it's summer, I would do something different, but I don't know. I'm kind of into the black. I'm gonna do that. But here's the thing about life. No matter what it is, for me, look at what I did. What did I want? And what do I still want? You guys see me here, you guys see me doing all these things. You guys see me like going and traveling and being a hustler online and everything else. This is kind of I had a friend the other day who was like, "Oh, I love following your adventures. Like you have such an interesting life." And I'm like, "Girl, what you're looking at is creativity plus desperation." Okay. That's what you're looking at. Kind of how I lived my life, a lot of it in survival mode, trying to escape, um, looking for options that were suitable for me because, I'm not suited for average everyday life. Really, I'm not. Um, but I have recently been thinking as I get closer to middle age that, and realistically, I may have passed middle age a while ago. But let's not get morbid here. I'm thinking that you know what, a little bit of a more settled life would be ideal for me. Maybe if I could get into a creative field, and have a bit of seniority in that, have a little bit more control over my time, maybe offer some mentorship and stuff like that. I have other programs that I want to launch. In the past, what's funny is I always got everything that I wanted. Everything. I wanted to make money online and live in the forest. I got it. I lived in the most beautiful, cool place, the Crow's Nest Pass. Would I love to live there again? Absolutely. That would be ideal for me. After that, I thought, oh, maybe I can live in Victoria because it was just so cold in Alberta in the winters. To be honest, I love Alberta. There's so much I love about it. This honestly feels like my home. Alberta feels like home to me, especially southern Alberta, the natural landscapes. I'm obsessed. Living in southern Alberta would probably be ideal for me. Um, and so I went traveling there, and then after I was like, I just going back to my roots. I grew up as a farm kid. I'm like, I just want to be a farmer's wife. I always wanted to go to Montana, looking for a guy who's an engineer, but he has to be into personal development. He has to be this, that, and the other thing. Poof! It all showed up on my doorstep, and I was gone. A guy saw me with the cats and everything else. And then after that, I was like, okay, this is not going to work. What do I want? I don't want to go back in the winter. I want to go live in Mexico. That's what people that I respect online are doing right now based on the state of the planet. Um, did that. It was great. And then it wasn't. And, I've been looking at these patterns in my life. And I had this crazy realization. I was like, why do I always get the thing that I want, but it's screwed up in some way? This was a question that I set my mind to work on. And I woke up one day with the answer. I really did. And the answer was this: yes, I got everything that I wanted in this life. But you guys remember the double slit experiment, where it's like, I don't even know the technical terms, okay? Where it's like the atom appeared when someone was observing it, and when they were not observing it, it didn't exist. So I think what this means is with our intention, with our attention, and by our observing something, it exists. So that means we're creating it through the projector of our eyes. That's how we see it. And we're creating it through a lens, the lens that we created that we are viewing the world through. And I realized that I had, and by the way, I also came to this realization because I found a meditation where you leave your old physical body and self and beliefs behind, and you walk into a space where there's a number of different versions of you that you can inhabit. And I'm like, I need to step into a new version of myself for this area of my life, because some bad patterns are repeating and they need to go, right? We can't look at other people and say, them, they did this, they did that. No, it's like I am the projector that's looking at and creating this experience of my life. I really do believe this. I think that we exist in multiple realities at once, an infinite number of realities. And the version that you get of the world, the version that you get of every person you interact with, is the version that aligns with the reality that you're currently in. So I believe that, yes, I got every single thing that I wanted and it was perfect. But I got the version that aligned with the reality that I was in. And I was viewing it through that lens. Kind of like that story about the people, the husband and wife are in their house and they look out and they're just pissed because they have this neighbor that goes and hangs their sheets on the line right outside their window, and they have to look at it every day, and it's gross. This neighbor's putting up sheets with these like nasty streaks on them. They're dirty. They're just gross looking grungy sheets on the line. And they're like, they just sit there and gossip. They're like, oh, I hate our neighbors. They suck so much. They're so annoying. Why are they doing that? Shame on them. Didn't anyone teach them how to clean? Etc. They do this every day until one day they step outside the house and they realize the neighbor has been putting pristine sheets on the line all this time, and it was their own windows that were dirty. I also don't want to make it sound like I'm blaming myself, right? That's the thing, right? Um, you know, I may have dirty windows, a projection or a level of reality that I was in that got imposed on me through the family I was born into and the experiences that I had in life as a result of that. And, you know, I was very angry at my mother for a long time because of that. But you know whose fault that was? It was her mother's fault that she ended up like that. And then it was my mother's fault that I ended up the way I am. However, I was able to wake up and break the cycle. Once you break out of the cycle, now you are an agent in the matrix. Now you are a person who is awake inside the dream. And that might even be the first step, even if you don't know what to do from there. I'm figuring it out. I'm slowly figuring it out because I'm like, I have insane powers to get exactly what I want. I don't want the chaotic, hurtful, cracked, bunged up, dysfunctional version of it anymore. I'm so sick of it. It breaks my heart every time. And some of you, I don't know if you remember my story, but that's what I was in a field in Montana, and I was just being dramatic. In my day to day life, I can hold it together quite well. But yeah, every once in a while when I'm in nature, I gotta throw myself down on the ground like a Disney princess and start crying and look up at the sky and be like, why, God? I have here this family, this beautiful farm. but I got this cracked up husband. I got this cracked up dynamic with them. And why don't I get the good thing? And the answer immediately came back to me. It was like telepathy from nature, from God. It said, "You are the good thing," which sounds nice and it feels nice and it's nice to say it. But I was like, I don't know what that means. I think it might mean that I'm the projector. I am the thing that can grant myself the good things in this life and in this experience. So this kind of went off the rails, but I still think it will help somebody. I think that you are the good thing too. I don't think it means like just me. Um, I think all of us have, we're creating and projecting our experience. It's open. Yeah. No. Look, this went off the rails, okay? But I think it's going to help somebody. And ultimately, yeah, I've got a crazy set of skills, and I feel like I'm ready for a new adventure. I've said this, I said this 10 years ago in 2015 when I was like, I got my little dream life out in the woods, whatever, my internet money. And I was just like, this feels very hollow because, I don't have any family to share it with. I don't have a relationship. I'm just kind of out here, going shopping at Sephora and going on Tinder dates in Calgary by my little damn self. Right. So it was like I always kind of got what I wanted and something was missing. So the only thing I have yet to get is a team or a partner that I can actually work on these things with. And that may involve getting back into a typical work environment and then doing, my YouTube stuff on the side. Even if it's like making me a lot of money on YouTube, I still don't want to just be, this solopreneur doing everything on my own. And I don't know. I don't think I want to start my own thing and then bring other people on. That's not something I want. So I'm slowly kind of teasing that out. But ultimately, there is somebody out there, whether it's a job or a partner, there's somebody out there, like who will be able to meet exactly what you want. There's probably a job out there that's like, damn, I wish we had somebody with like, a nature loving forestry background who's like kind of charming, like a little bit weird and has like a bunch of strange skills, and internet skills, right? Or, there may be someone out there who's like, hey, I wish there was someone who, I could hire to come to the mountains and do my makeup. Or there may be someone out there who's like, damn, I wish we had someone to give an SUV to if he wants to make YouTube videos. Like, you know what I mean? Um, and for dating, be someone out there who's like, you know what? I just can't find someone who has traditional old school values, who doesn't drink, do any kind of drugs, who like, has been single for a very long time, who actually does personal development, who cares about, their mental health, the way they look, and who's looking to take things slowly, and who doesn't prescribe to government agendas, right? You would think so. The only way that these people are going to be able to find you, unfortunately, is if you are hanging out your shingle, if you are putting your weirdness out there, you're being your little authentic self, taking opportunities, right? I say yes to a lot of things. Um, I say no to things that aren't aligned with me, or for people who have, a lower vibe than me, who are going to bring me down with whatever it is that they've got going on. Um, but I say yes to a lot of things. My friend here owns a media company and he's on the other side of town. Oh, I sold my SUV when I went to Mexico. So yeah, I took the bus to the other side of town and I worked in this media office with him for the day. Go out there, say yes to things, try new things, walk places. People see me when I'm out walking, they all want to talk to me. And that's what YouTube is about. It's about putting your shingle out, saying, here, this is what I'm about. This is what I can offer. This is what I care about. This is where my knowledge lies. And I've had so many crazy opportunities come into my life through YouTube alone. So y'all are going to keep seeing me on here. You're not going to get rid of me. And if you might be interested in, just starting to think about starting your own business in a real way, go and check out my workbook I've got for you below. Stop Thinking Like an Employee. Use the code YouTube 2025 to grab it for free. And if you want to talk to me or you want to check out my ebooks about all the crazy adventures I've had in my life, those are all linked below as well. Y'all know I'm going to be back here. I'm going to be back here talking about something else soon. Let me know if you have any specific things you want me to talk about or any questions for me in the comments. And I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.